If your goal is to prove to your market that what you do works and show them different mechanisms, different methods, and different models around how you do what you do, then all you need to do is master what I'm going to give you, literally 9 boxes, and you'll be able to create highly compelling case studies that people want to watch.
Hey there, expert. If you're a consultant looking to grow your practice to 500K and beyond, then this masterclass is a preview into some of the strategies and tactics we teach our experts around sales, marketing, and how to create high converting offers and delivery system so they can enjoy more profit without sacrificing their lifestyle. Now, if you like this session, please give us a like, a subscribe, or even comment, as every bit of engagement helps get this message out to more people. Anyway, enjoy the masterclass, and we hope to see you in person, on a call, or at one of our events soon.
We're going to be talking about the case study builder. Now, over the last few years, we've always been taught to do, as you know, in our world, that testimonials are really important. And I think testimonials are incredibly important. Testimonials and being able to create great testimonials comes down to proof. But testimonials aren't working anymore. Testimonials are now met with high levels of skepticism because these days you don't know whether someone's paid for it, whether somebody's been sort of pushed to do it. And so it's easy to get a very canned testimonial from somebody. And I think the marketplace I think testimonials are gone. I don't think testimonials are a thing anymore. And when I look across the industry and I look at a couple of the results that we're getting, I can see that testimonials and being able to capture client testimonials, while powerful, are no longer relevant in the format that you've been taught. And there's a couple of things that are emerging in the market right now. So it's not enough just to have testimonials, because testimonials, although they increase credibility, there's got to be something else, right? Something else in the mix. When your clients come to you, let me just talk out a couple of ideas of where this is going. In the old days, I should have tested the old iPad. In the old days, this is what marketing looked like, everybody. Like this. This is the old way. You might have seen it. It looks like a funnel. And you'd heard words in the marketing industry called tofu, mofu, bofu. Weird words. But in the industry that, in most of the world that we were playing in, this was what has been taught. And if you search any of these words, tofu, mofu, or bofu, you'll find an image that looks very similar to this. And at the top, it'll say, this is for cold people, this is for warm people, and this is for hot people. And the goal of marketing was to take someone who is unknown, make them known, turn someone from known into needed, turn someone needed into now, right? That's marketing. So basically at every level, the teach was, okay, so at the top, we need what we would call a lead magnet. Still nothing wrong with a lead magnet. You know, how do you ask somebody if they were interested in downloading one of your resources, downloading one of your trainings, getting access to a template, getting access to a resource or a framework? The goal at the top here was basically to get somebody to, 1, consume something that you've got. Usually it's a piece of IP. Consume, use, and get value from it. So it has to be consumable, useful, valuable. You know, consumable means they have to be able to consume it in less than sort of 5 to 7 minutes. Useful, they should be able to apply it to something that is a problem for them now. Like they should be able to use it in a day-to-day fashion as part of their business or part of their life. Useful. And valuable means it gives them something of value back, a time gain, a money gain, or an energy gain. And for the most part, consultants, we always keep our IP hidden until someone pays for it. But what we're sort of doing now in today's world is give as much as you can away, because what that does is it builds your reach and it builds your reputation. It also builds your authority in your audience, right? Really important. And then when somebody downloads it, depending on how good you are and how consistent you are, we kind of go down the next layer, right? Where known and needed. So you invite somebody to maybe a workshop right? Something a little bit longer. Workshop, a training, a webinar, a sprint, right? These things here build your authority, right? They build your authority, but more so they're designed to increase credibility, because before someone will pay you money, they need to know that you are credible. Like, you want easier sales, just be better at marketing. You want, the reason why most people say, I just love warm leads. I need warm leads. I need better quality leads. I need more qualified leads. I like warmer leads. Word of mouth and referral are the best leads, is because they come from a known spot and they have already been pre-warmed. So if you want to pre-warm somebody, every month you should be delivering some form of training to your audience that exposes them to your methods, your teaching, your mindset, your methods, right? That's important. And then ultimately, down below is where you invite people to have a conversation. Hey, by the way, because now, if you think about it, if you have a conversation or book a call, now they are a little bit warmer, right? In theory, this is marketing 101. Cold, warm, hot. Runner, we're here to talk about case studies. How the heck does this land into case studies? Because the game's changed. Right now, information, because of AI, has essentially commoditized 80% of the market. People don't necessarily need to, in the past, we would hide a lot of these things here, we would hide behind what we call a gated page, right? They would have to opt in, right? So they would have to give you their name or email to opt in. But now, because of AI, people can access most of the information that you have and you feel is unique in your mind. They can access that through ChatGPT. Now, they can get information, but they still don't know how to apply the insights into it and implement it to get an outcome, right? So we're literally, our goal is to move people here as quickly as possible, because the funnel now is no longer looking like that. This is what the funnel looks like now, right? It looks like this. People become aware of you because they see something that you're doing. Content, post, video, LinkedIn profile, message, whatever it is, they see it and they might come to your profile. And then what happens is it looks like this now. It's what Google has called the messy middle. It looks like this. So we often want to get people to a call. Same things apply, to have a conversation, but this is what it looks like. They come in and they kind of do this, right? They kind of do this. So what they're doing is their research, they're consuming, they're validating, and they're reviewing. You would be no different. And they believe that inside of this world, people are needing anywhere from 14 to 17 touch points, which they recommend is anywhere from 2 to 6 hours worth of consumption before they see you as credible, right? That's what the research is now, right? So consumption. So either 14 to 17 touch points or 2 to 6 hours of consumption. Because right now, that's kind of what people are wanting to do. They want to try it and they want to see it. They want to research it. They want to review it. They want to consume. They want to validate. They want to try it. They want to test it. And so content is important. And all of the stuff that we're teaching is still more important than ever. But what's really important, I think more than ever before, because let's be real, AI can do a lot, but what it can't do at the moment is still, it can't do video really well. It can't do case studies really well. So it's not about getting people into testimonials. It's now about moving people into what we call, there is 2 types of content. There is value content, right? I'm going to give you some value, right? And then there is conversion content. Value content is content that people will look at and they will use. For example, the other day, I just put together a LinkedIn events framework. I put it out there. It's been viewed a few hundred times. We've got like 70 or so leads from it. People are looking at it, watching it, reviewing it, trying it. I can see that there's probably already like 6 or 7 hours worth of people viewing it. And then there's conversion content. And conversion content is basically proof. It's proof. And what most consultants really suck at is proving what they do works, right? Because we're in one of two minds. One, you say, I don't have any case studies. I don't have any testimonials. I'm just starting out. Like, I don't know. In a past life I had them. I didn't capture them. So you go, okay, cool, no problem. The best time to start was yesterday. The next best time to start is today. So if you don't have case studies, well, we've got to teach you how to get them. But not just do it in a way that's a testimonial, but to do it in a way that's a story. It's a story-driven case study. I'm going to give you the framework. Second is we go, how do I create conversion content? Same framework. The case study you give to your client is the same framework you use to create content for yourself. It's the same. Because if your goal is to prove to your market that what you do works and show them different mechanisms, different methods, and different models around how you do what you do, then what you're doing is essentially saying, here's how I do it, and then you basically say, and here's how my client did it using the methods and frameworks that I gave them. It's the same thing. So all you need to do is master what I'm going to give you, literally 9 boxes, and you'll be able to create highly compelling case studies that people want to watch, because there's 3 main objections that people have. I'm going to tell you those in a second that we need to overcome. And then you should be using this at least once a month, at least, preferably once a week, to create what I call documentary style case studies for yourself, which means you document the things that you do. This will sound bizarre, it'll sound weird, but ultimately, guys, the polish is not what people want. They want to understand the process. The polish is not what someone wants. They want to see the process. People are curious creatures. They want to know, how did you come up with that? How does it work? What happens behind the scenes? Can you show me how you develop that? People want to see behind the curtain. And so that's all a case study is to show them behind the curtain of one of your clients, but you can still show them behind the curtain of yourself. So we're going to do that today. You're going to walk away with a case study that's your case study for yourself today. That being said, there are 3 big objections that are in the minds of every single one of your potential future customers. 3. 1, 2, 3. The first objection is, will this work? Do I believe in it? So basically, that's why the money model is really important, guys, because you've got to link what you do to what they need or the problems they have. So they go, yeah, I can see how this will work. Anyway, we'll talk about that. But this is what a case study needs to do. The big thing they're looking at is before they come to work with you, they're going, well, do I think this can work? Do I believe in what they do? Right? So will this work? Will they work? As in, do I believe in you? 1, do I believe in the product or service? 2, do I believe in the person delivering it? Right? That's really important. This makes up, by the way, 20% of all objections. The third one is 80%. Would you like to know, this is the big domino. Who would like to know what the third objection is? Cool. I'll tell you later. No, I'm just joking. I'm just joking. Okay. But the third objection is, will I work? Do you know the number one belief that people have is that they don't believe in themselves? The biggest objection is not about you or your product. The biggest objection is about them. I've tried something before, it didn't work. Last time I did something, my partner didn't. They told me I was a loser, or I couldn't make it work. I try something and I've failed before. I told a friend that I would be successful in 6 months, and it's been 8, and I'm still learning. So I don't know if I can do it. I doubt myself. Imposter syndrome, doubt, fear, and frustration is the number one thing stopping people from achieving their dreams and goals. And so the game of business is not about doing anything different sometimes. It's just about how deep you can go quickly. It's a what versus how game. So it's never about what you do, it's about how you do it. It's your behavior that shapes the outcome. And so people lack this. So when you empower people through your content, you build up belief in themselves. And so some of you will have seen this framework before, because this is kind of what we call the 10-minute tactic. Joel, Ivan, I think you guys will have seen this. because we've given it to you, right, to follow. Now, if you think about it, I gave this same framework to Kian and a few other people, and at our expert intensives and even at the summit, people followed this framework to tell their story. The one thing here is that we gave it to Joel, and if you go back and you review how he delivered his session, it didn't sound like he was trying to sell us. It didn't seem like he was trying to sell himself. Joel was telling a story that other people could relate to because it was designed like that. And so what I'm going to get everybody to do is we're going to walk through this framework together so you can have it. And then what we're going to do is you're going to build a version of this for yourself today before we leave. How's this feeling so far, guys? Helpful, valuable, useful? Give me so far. What are you guys, and if it is, what's your big insight so far? Before we move on, what's landing for you guys so far? Catherine, Dean, Anya, Ivan, Jane, Joel, Raheel, what's your big insight so far? What's landing? And while you guys are typing away, what's landing for you guys so far? 80% objection, how to structure the case. Yep, that's coming. Self-case study stories, the objection. Great, perfect. Okay, I'd like you to draw a box or a rectangle, actually, And in that rectangle, what we're going to do is we're going to draw 3 lines in the middle. We're going to have 9 boxes in total. So it's like 3 horizontal lines like this, and then 3 vertical lines like this. Now, if you suffer from OCD, sorry that they're not all even, but we did our best today, okay? So there you go. So what I'd like you to do is then put a title at the top, and you can call it your 10-minute tactic case study builder. 10 minutes is usually a really good time frame. Any more than that, people kind of like go, okay, yeah. Any less than that, people don't take it for real. So, listen, it comes down to the quality of the conversation and the case study, not necessarily the length of it. So here's the thing, right? Right now, self-driven content is the thing that people are consuming the most. More people are consuming podcasts than ever before. Most people are consuming YouTube videos than ever before. When they consume a video, they consume another video and another video. People are consuming content more than ever before. So the first thing that we want to do, I believe, is I always look at thinking about your market and looking at the problem they have. Now, don't get too caught up in this, but the first thing we want to have a look at is the headline, right? The headline. Let me just write that again. The headline. So if you want a really good headline framework, it's get the, framework tool to, use a word, generate, create, design. So, get the tool, the name of the framework, to create outcome without objection. Overcome an objection, speak to an outcome, reference a tool or a framework or a piece of IP. Now that's good for you. If you're doing that for a client, you would say, learn how one consultant used, or how Joel used tool to create outcome without objection. This is a guide, everybody. The reason this is important is because most people, when they do videos, the headline is what makes people click on it. So if your headline is boring and generic, doesn't matter how good the content is, people won't even click on it. So as much as it feels like clickbait, the headline's important. How I used a 10-minute tactic framework to create high converting case studies without, and you think of an objection, why don't people create case studies? Why don't they create case studies? Without what? What would be an objection? You think about it. You've got to think about this sort of stuff. Get my 10-minute tactic case study builder that creates high converting case studies in less than 10 minutes. So time could be one, right? Time could be an objection. Without what? What's a reason that people would feel like they couldn't do an objection without a camera script or without a script or without a, you think of something. I often think about an objection or a objection as in a time objection, a money objection, an effort objection. Think about it like that. Time objection, money objection, effort objection. Without effort, what's an effort objection? What's a money objection? What's a time objection? So without needing to spend hours online. Without what? How to create high converting LinkedIn events. How we use this simple event framework to create LinkedIn events that convert without needing a big audience or tech, a big tech setup. So, because one of the objections our audience have is, what if I don't have a big audience? Do LinkedIn events still work? What if I don't have a big social media following? Will this still work? What if I don't have? So think about the thing that your audience is stuck on. I'm not very confident, without needing to be confident on camera. I just don't know if I don't know if I can afford it, without needing a big ad budget. I don't know if I have time, in less than 10 minutes. Think about the objection and then the outcome that they want and the IP thing that you are going to use to get them there. We'll go through this, right? And so once you've done that, everybody, we're going to do that together. I want you to take a minute. This is not meant to be like some kind of trick question, but what could be a tool, an outcome or an objection that you could use right now to create this today? What would it be? I'd like you to take a couple of minutes and put it into the chat so we can have a look at and riff them together. Because I think it'd be important, rather than me just talk, let's do a bit of do and make sure that you've got something solid to walk away with this masterclass from, okay? So what is your headline that you are going to use? What's the framework, the IP, the resource, the tool, that kind of small thing that's consumable, useful, valuable? What's the outcome that it gets them? Should be a sort of a small outcome, something that they desire, something that they want, something that's a fix, without objection, the thing that's holding them back, the thing that's making them skeptical, the thing that makes them feel worried or scared, or stops them from working with you or taking action. What is it? 2 minutes? In fact, I'll give you 1 minute. All right, let's roll. Okay, so how did everyone go? Cool. Here's what I love to do, right? I've given you a framework in what Vaughn's put in the chat, but I've also given you a framework here. And this is just me off the cuff, right? So let's look at this off the cuff. If I jump into this ChatGPT and I say, I need you to help me create a high converting headline, right? Using this framework, right? What I do is then I would then give it some information. So for example, cool, can you confirm that's okay? And I'll give you the details. So I want you to think about it simply and easily, right? Because sometimes I get it. You're not all marketers. You're going to think of it like delivery. You're going to think of big problems that seem too big and uncompelling. And as much as you think it's compelling, your audience is probably going to, if they have to think for a second about what it is, they're on to the next video. And case studies are important. This headline that you've got does 80, it's the 80-20 rule. It's the 20% that does the 80% of the work. If your headline is 20%, but it's 80% responsible for getting people to click on the thing that you want them to click on. If you don't have a good headline, you will not get a click. You will not get someone to view it. And that is guaranteed every time, 100% of the time. So a great way to do it is to use something like ChatGPT with a framework that we're teaching you here, not to rely on ChatGPT, but use it as an ideation. So if I said to it, okay, so I'd say, okay, so the tool that I'm using is what I call the 10-minute tactic builder or the 10-minute tactic case study builder. The outcome is it helps clients create high converting case studies, and the objection is that, I don't know, it's something around like in less than 10 minutes, right? So fast case studies that convert, something like that. Can you help me use that framework and put that together, please? Done. That's taken me 2 seconds. If you're not good at marketing, we're giving you the tools. You've got to do the work. Again, it's a what versus how equation, right? It's a what versus how equation. It's not just what the framework is, it's how you apply it. So if I do that, there you go, it's talking to Lucas because Lucas is the guy who's our marketing manager. Okay, the 10-minute tactic case study builder to create high converting case studies without spending hours writing them. Great. Get the 10-minute tactic builder to craft high converting case studies without wasting time or overthinking. Get the 10-minute tactic builder to create powerful case studies without sacrificing hours of your day. Get the 10-minute tactic case study builder to create case studies without the time drain. Get the 10-minute tactic case study builder to win more clients without spending all day writing them. Get the 10-minute tactic case study builder to turn results into case studies that convert without long-winded copywriting. Perfect. Choose one. So if I go, great, can you help me write another? And I take, say for example, Anya's. Remember, I've got to go, is the tool, bottom up discovery questions. Do you identify untapped growth potential in your business without lengthy analysis? Sounds good, right? Can we be more specific? Untapped growth that companies are using to find 20 to 30% extra profit without expensive, or lengthy analysis. Lengthy analysis sounds weird, but analysis without spending weeks analyzing or something like that, right? But for the fun of it, for the speed of it, if we do that, we could do this, right? Without the overwhelm of deep dive analysis. Yep. If I said to it now, this is interesting, not that we want to derail ourselves here. Can you give me examples of how I can make this more tangible and specific, right? Just for the sake of time. So if I did it, you might have a look at, these are the kind of versions that I was talking about, right? To identify 10K plus in hidden growth potential without hiring a consultant. Wow, cool. The big objection is I don't want to have to hire another consultant, which feels weird, right, Anya, because you're a consultant. So, but the thing is, that's what they're thinking now. It's not what they're going to be thinking later. These are some tools, right? Everyone, I'm spending longer on that because it's really important that you understand that it's your headline that does the heavy lifting. Everything else is good, but the headline does the heavy lifting. Hopefully I've nailed that in hard enough now. Okay, so the next part is the problem. Now here's the thing. When we talk about a problem, it's like, what's the problem going on? Describe the problem. Now the problem has to have, you want to describe a problem that your target market can relate to. Describe and relate. This isn't about being manipulative, it's about being honest. The biggest problem I had was that I was always getting clients great results, but I never knew how to capture them in a way that worked for me. They always sounded cheesy, corny, weird. I felt weird asking the client. They felt weird giving the testimonial. It was kind of weird. And so it always stopped me from doing it. Can you guys relate to that? Right? Describe and relate. You always know that it's not always bringing in new revenue. The thing so if I'm speaking in Anya's case, I'm like, it's working. If I'm speaking to her client, I'd say I was working with a client, a big company, and they knew that there was money that they had, but they didn't know how to find it. They were spending more, bringing on expensive consultants, spending hours analyzing the data, weeks, months, putting together algorithms and data sheets, when really they were missing one simple thing, right? One simple thing. And I'll show you that today. We all think that in order to make more money, we've got to spend more, right? Better spend more. It's about more marketing. It's about more sales. It's about more delivery. It's about cutting costs. It's about reducing our team. So it's either cost cutting or expensive marketing. But here's the thing. Most people are missing the profit right under their nose. I'm going to show you how this one tool is going to help you find it. Wow. Great. I'm listening. Use words your audience relate to. A little hack. If you think about your money model, choose an area and then speak to that area, right? Like, for me, if it's about case studies, it's really about delivery. It's probably down here. So I just use my money model as a bit of a map. So what I'd like you to do is I'd like you to think of a problem that your audience can relate to or will relate to. So if you put 3 dot points down, what are 3 problems that relate to your headline? For example, with Anya, what are the 3 things stopping them from, identifying the untapped potential? What's getting in the way? What are they commonly doing What are the obstacles, the common obstacles, right? The common obstacles, the common challenges, right? What are they? Think about it for a minute and then pop chat. Let's see it. 1 minute, let's go. All right, what are a couple of problems? What are you thinking? Pop it in, let's hear it, let's see it. You think about so Anya says looking for weaknesses and how to eliminate them, driving things top down without listening to the people in the organization, high pressure and going for the obvious solution to cut costs. Yeah, great. So you want to speak to the real problem they're facing and can relate to right now, which is great. Because the thing is, when you can't find the profit that you want, the easiest solution is we've just got to cut costs. So what do? You start cutting people and processes. And with that, you lose intelligence, you lose systems, you lose data, you lose capability, you lose consistency. And so as much as you feel like you're cutting costs, it's more expensive than you know. So that's how I would look at doing it. It's great, Anya, perfect. And they're going to be going, yeah, this is so true, far out. That's we should share this with everybody because it's exactly what we're thinking. It's simple, it's not always easy. Simple to do, not always easy to be able to articulate. And if you're struggling with this, guys, please rewatch this masterclass until you get this done and dialed. Version 1 is better than not done. Don't just sit there and going, oh, I just don't think it's good enough. I'd rather you have something absolutely terrible and done than something perfect and just in your mind, never to be seeing the light of day. Problem. The next one is opportunity, which is solution. What is the solution they want, right? Which is really tied to this thing here, which is their outcome. What do they want? But it's usually smaller than that. Like it's usually something fairly easy for them to do. It's not a big stretch, this opportunity. It's not like you want a high performing culture. No, you don't. You want a simple and easy way to onboard A players. You want an easy way to attract high performing staff or team that you can bring into your organization quickly and upskill them fast. Yes. So for example, what you want is the opportunity is, what if you didn't have to cut all of your people and processes and there was an easier way to identify hidden profit centers in your business, in your company right now, by asking 10 simple questions. For us.
Hey, if you're enjoying what you're hearing so far, please like, subscribe, and comment. Getting this out to more people is why we do it, and hearing from you makes it all worthwhile. So please let us know. And by the way, if you'd like more information about the Expert Project, head on over to expertproject.com/launch, where you can tell us a bit more about your business, what you might be needing, how we might be able to help, and book a call with one of our team so we can help you grow your consulting business today.
What if there was an easy way to capture case studies that enabled your best clients to tell the best stories that engaged your audience and had them say, hey, me too, can you help me too? What if I could give you that framework? That's what I wanted. You can speak to the need, right? So describe and relate, it's the same thing. It's just like you've got to think of the now fix the now fix or gain. So these are the things that they can see that, oh, it's going to give me, I can use this, right? Like this is what I want now. Like this could help me now. It has to seem, as I said, easy, useful. So easy is consumable and useful and valuable. So basically, don't put too much pressure on yourself here, guys. It's really just like, the reason is most people, I just wanted a way to capture high converting case studies and not lose all the opportunity from all the clients who were getting wins. That's what I wanted. That's the gain. That's the fix. I just wanted to be able to I wanted a simple step-by-step process I could use to get clients to tell the best stories that help me create more value in the marketplace. What this client wanted was a simple, easy way that they could diagnose exactly where the gaps were and what they needed to do right now to get the highest return possible in the shortest amount of time, right? Notice that in the top here, most of the work is done at the top because people will click here with the headline, they'll click with the headline, and then they need to understand that, is this right for me, right? So remember, the big objection we had was, do I believe this can help me? Do I believe in this? Well, that answers that question. These two things. If they can't relate to the problem or the solution, then they're not going to watch the video. And that's okay. Not every video is for every person, right? But you want to make it as clear as possible. The next step is to say, do I believe in you, the person delivering it? And this is why we answer in the next phase. This is what overcomes that objection, which is then we want to give people the framework. The framework is not teaching them how to use it. It's teaching them what the framework is and why the framework helps. Not how. There's no how. So what we do is we unpack. It's nothing of that. This is what it is. This is why it works. So this is what it is. This is the framework. This is the 10-minute tactic builder. Why it's important is because it overcomes the 3 biggest objections that your marketplace has. 1, do I believe in this product or service the person's talking about? 2, do I believe in them, the person delivering it? 3, do I believe in myself that I'm able to achieve the outcomes from that person says works for other people? Do I believe in that? This framework helps with that. Now, I'm obviously going deeper today because I'm giving you a lot more how. And if you want to, you can give a little bit of how. Don't be like, oh my God, I think I gave away too much how. It doesn't necessarily matter as long as the how is the least amount of detail. What, why, how. Here's what it is, here's why it matters, and here's kind of how it works. And you can give them like a little sample or a top level overview of it. You don't need to go through the detail and make it like a 2-hour training. It's kind of like, think about the how as like the steps, 1, 2, 3. Here's how it worked, 1, 2, 3. No more than 3 steps. Here's what it is. Here's why it's important. Here's how it helps. 1, 2, 3, done. No more than that. So what's the framework? What's the piece of IP? What's the tool? You said it already here. You want to talk about what it is, right? So what it is, why it helps, and how it works. Or why it works and how it helps. Helps, works. As long as they walk away going, wow, that's what we need. And by the way, if you give away too much how, it's not a big deal. They'll walk away going, that was really valuable. Worst case scenario, they share it. They keep consuming it. They use it. No problem at all. I'd rather you get out more content and more value to your marketplace than not enough. So do not worry. Oh, I gave away too much how. It doesn't matter. Don't matter. Just remember that the what and the why is more important than the how. That's right. But the way I see it is the how is actually a box of its own, right? So if you want to think about it because you're a delivery person, the how can probably be here, right? And that comes down to the actions that you took, right? So the almost like the documentation or the prescription. It's actually not prescription. It's more documentation. So think about it like document. Here is how to do it. 1, 2, 3. This is how it works. Step 1, you do this. Step 2, you do this. Step 3, you do that. They're the actions that you take. And what you've got to do is link every action to an outcome. Remember, it's not, here is a feature. If you do this, you'll be able to open up, you'll be able to, people look at it like, so what you do is you ask these questions. These are the 3 questions to ask. That's the action. Ask 3 questions, but that's not the outcome. When you ask these 3 questions, you get emotional buy-in. So people believe you sooner. That's the outcome, right? Action, outcome, action, outcome. So there are 3 phases to this framework. The first phase is to uncover. So we ask these questions to uncover the hidden profit centers and identify the ones that are biggest opportunities for you to make money faster. 2, we then have a look at the departments they're assigned to because we want to understand which department can we work on first to get the highest value results sooner. 3, what we want to do then is we want to engage the leadership. So we look at which managers or leaders are responsible for managing those teams, that we can give them the right data so they can make the highest level decisions, the right decisions sooner, right? So we have insights, and insights are more available, people are more transparent, and we can actually achieve results faster. That's what we want to be able to do, right? That's kind of the level of how I'm talking about. Framework, here it is, here's what it is, and here's why it helps or works. And then actions, and then results. The way I like to look at results is like this. before, they were. Describe the problem and the pain. Once you implemented the thing, after, solution, and gain. And that's the thing, because even if it's a client doing this for you, you'd say, look, before I was really lost, I was stuck, the company was losing money, or, I was never capturing, we were never able to identify where our money was going. We knew we were bringing in revenue, we just weren't keeping much of it. Once Anya came in and she helped us with this bottoms-up framework, we actually implemented that, and over the next couple of months, we started to see that profit was slowly increasing. In fact, in 90 days, we actually did more profit in Q4 than we'd done in the previous quarters combined. That's the kind of result you want. There are two types of results that you're going to get, guys. There is what I call intangible, which are feelings. Oh, I feel so confident now. It's so good. Great. Perfect. But what people really want to know is it's not about the intangible, it's tangible. What happened? What were the facts? What happened that you feel that? So I feel so confident now because now I have a dashboard and I can see exactly how many leads are coming in and how many sales I'm making. Our opportunity pipeline is full. I've never felt more confident about my business. So it's got a link to a fact, right? So now we've overcome two big objections. The first objection we've overcome is we've overcome, do I believe in the product or service? Would they go, yeah, well, this sounds like it could help. Do I believe in the person that is delivering it? Well, it seems good. I've got a what, why, how, and they've got results and I can see the results. That's pretty crazy. By the way, in this results, any proof that you've got, any screenshots, shares, testimonials, case studies, any behind the scenes, anything that you have, show and share. Don't just, the more proof you have, physical, visible evidence proof, like a client laughing, she's on top of a mountain, a client holding up a certificate, a client saying, hey, I got my promotion today. Like any proof that is visible to back it up is important, right? So that's important. Now the last part is, do I believe in myself? Yeah. Do I believe in myself? And so what you want to do is you want to look at why it worked. And why it worked should speak to people's belief. It's usually what they weren't doing, seeing, or admitting. Normally that's the case, right? It's emotional now. So here's why it worked. Listen, I always thought that in order to make money, you just had to invest in more marketing. And what I've realized now, it's not about more marketing. It's actually understanding how you're spending and keeping tight budgets. And that's really changed the way I see money. It's really helped me understand the insights of my business and how it's working, right? So this is about, why it worked is about belief. It's about changing the beliefs. So speak to the belief that is holding them back, or the common belief that most people in your audience have. So for example, if I know that my audience thinks that in order to win more work, I've got to give more information. I'd say, here's why it works. Because most people think that in order to be successful as a consultant, you have to give as much information as you can in one document. And all it does is it leaves your potential client overwhelmed and stuck. Because nobody wants to read a 50-page document. And ironically, the people who are busy don't have the time to read it. So it's not actually even working. So what I found is it's not giving people any more than 3 things that relate to the problem that they said. Right? So I want to say less is more. That's the belief change. That's the insight. Then you want to see, here are the lessons that I've learned, right? You can have up to 3. Lessons are good because lessons are like your teaching. Here is what I learned. Here's what I learned. I learned that 1, less is more. I learned that 2, tracking the numbers is so important. It's more important than tracking the leads. You get them to teach. You teach a lesson. What are the 3 things that you can teach? And the last part is prescribe. So here's the thing. This is important. If it's you, okay, 1, if it's you doing it for yourself, you would put what I call a CTA, which is, what do you want them to do next? Here is what I would recommend. If you're talking about a piece of IP, have a call to action that could be like, hey, if you'd like a copy of the bottoms up questions. If you'd like a copy of the 10-minute case study builder, just comment case study below. Just comment questions below. Just comment below, right? Because then you can actually send it to somebody and start a conversation. If it's on social media or even on email, like you could, whatever it is, people can comment and go, just reply to me. Send me an email saying workshop, and I'll send you the details. Send me a just reply back saying numbers, and I'll send you the worksheet. So the goal is to try to get, and even with the case study, so that's for you, right? Because you want you want to engage. That's the goal. You want to engage. So CTA stands for call to action. What do you want them to do at the end? Get them to do something. They have to take an action. Don't just say, thanks for watching and bye. Just go, look, if you relate to any of this today and you think that actually using these numbers could be valuable, just comment numbers below and I'll send you the exact worksheet that I used to help, client achieve that result so you can use it for your business today. So just comment the word worksheet and I'll send that across to you today. Anyway, take care and bye for now. Done. If it's a client, it's weird for them to go, oh, by the way, if you'd like a copy of the same worksheet that Anya gave me, then comment it's weird. What I look at doing here is if it's them, I would say something like recommend. So the question I would ask them to answer in this is, what would I say to someone thinking about working with person/business? So look, here's what I'd say to someone thinking about working with Anya. When we first started, we actually had no idea about our numbers. We had no idea about where money was going. And honestly, the best thing, we were skeptical. Like, oh, another consultant coming in, and it was really weird. But, we took the leap and we're glad we did, because now after working with her, we were able to see the profits gone up. We haven't had to cut anybody. In fact, our team culture is better than ever. So just do it. That's the thing. The call to action for a client is for them to recommend you or your business. So if it's you doing the case study for you, you would say, hey, by the way, if you'd like a copy of this worksheet, just download it. And if not, then if it's a client, then by all means, ideally, Ivan, probably about 10 minutes, 10-minute tactic. 10-minute tactic, 10. If it goes for about 10 to 15 minutes, it's not a big deal. I'll show you a quick example of this, right? So here's the reality link. Here it is. I'll show you guys an example. So this is an example of one where I was just showing people a framework, right? So if you guys want to have a look at it, you can. But it's basically like this, and where is it? There it is. So all I'm doing is I'm just sharing a framework, right? And then the call to action is, hey, by the way, if you'd like to download the cheat sheet that I've got available, please do so. And most of that I've put here into, I asked them, my call to action was, if you'd like a copy of the cheat sheet, just comment events below. And so actually what we started to have is events, people, see how people are commenting on it? So, I don't have a big following, guys, on YouTube. So I don't think, I've got 1,700. It's been played 194 times. It's not going viral, but to have 12 likes on it and 25 comments, it's not bad for a 16-minute video. And that's my call to action at the end, right? My profile, Rana Saini on LinkedIn, and you can have a look at how I've set up my profile and also how on our company page, if you are interested, comment events, download it. See? And I've just given them a worksheet. Now there's a worksheet that's sitting in my hard drive doing nothing. You guys would have so many worksheets, so many things available that you can give people, right? And what you do is you speak to it. You remember, you're using LinkedIn events wrong. Well, okay, and losing 50 plus warm leads a month. So I'm speaking to the problem and I'm speaking to the opportunity, but I'm also speaking to the obstacle. You're using LinkedIn events wrong, okay, and losing 50 warm leads. So I'm like, okay, cool. That's an interesting headline. I think we probably could have done a better headline, to be honest, but we're learning a few things, and we're going to be teaching this in the upcoming intensive coming up in the next couple of months. But there's no reason why each of you can't be generating leads with content exactly using this framework. That might seem complicated to you. Think about it. Here's a headline. Here's a problem. Here's the solution you want. Here's the framework I use. Here's how it works. Here are the results it's got me. Here's why I believed it worked. Here are the lessons that you can take away from this. Here's what you need to do next if you'd like a copy of it. Done. There's your framework, everybody. If you implement this once a month, once a week even, you will get better and better and better and better and better at it. The trick is to stop being a consultant and to become a marketer. Once you understand that switch, you won't have a lead problem ever again in your life. You've got to remember that leads are easy to get. Once you solve that problem, like, people will consume your content. And when they come to a call, they go, oh my God, Anya, we actually really enjoy watching your videos. And you're like, why didn't you come to me like months ago? People will come when they're ready, right? So remember, we're all in the messy middle. And at the end of the day, you being able to put a good case study in the market, either a case study of your championing your own content and your own IP and how it works for you, and giving case studies and ideas of how it could work, is the first step. And then asking your clients, hey, listen, here's a 10-minute tactic builder that I've got. I'll just give you a quick walkthrough of how it works. Would you be able to, don't worry about would you be able to just tell me what it's about? Give me, can you just label it? What's the problems that you were having? What's the solution that you were wanting? What's the framework that really helped you the most out of the work we've done together? Or if you can relate to the model or something that you used that you thought was the most valuable. What were the 3 things that you did that really worked? What were the results that you had before? Like, where were you before and where are you after? If you could say them in like tangible things like time or money or like capacity, effort, energy, something that relates to a number, and then how you were feeling, that'd be awesome. If you could just give an idea of like why you think it worked for you, like why, like what changed, why. And then a couple of lessons, a couple of things that you would recommend to other people. Like, what are the 3 things that you believe, if you had to teach this to someone else, well, what are the 3 things that you would say to them? And then basically, like, what would you say to someone sitting on the edge wanting to do some work with us similar to what you were doing? What would you say to someone sitting on the edge sitting on the fence, wanting to do work? What would you say or recommend to them? If you could do that, that'd be great. Or worst case scenario, on a Zoom and you ask them the questions. So, Anya, where were you stuck? What were you want? Like, you could just do exactly the same thing and ask them on a Zoom and just cut. It doesn't need to be polished, doesn't need to be sexy. It just needs to be done. Quick questions. Anyone got any questions? Vorno, do you want to just quickly jump off and just quick, I just want to ask you a couple of questions. You have given this to a couple of clients. How was it hard, difficult? I know that you've had to jump on, like, with a couple of clients who are a bit nervous about getting it right, because I think that's the big thing. Yeah.
No, I think the framework itself was super easy and just gave them clarity. Like, it's really easy to follow through. You sort of think of it as like 1 minute per box is how I explain it to them. Just do 1 minute per box. Yeah. and keep it real simple. But the clarity that came from it. So as by way of testimonial to this, if you go back and look at intensive December, I think it was December and March intensives where we've had the 10-minute tactics from our experts, it's been following this framework. For those of you that were at Summit with us and we had the 3 experts get up and speak, it was following this framework for the starting point, the stage part of what they presented. So super easy to follow. I think Mark is probably the best case study on this one, Rans. Mark Fisk, accountant, mega introvert, not a stage guy, but he was able to follow this and clearly articulate and walk through the process. And it worked. He came off afterwards and he's literally spoken to me since, just going, this thing has given me so much confidence to be able to talk about what I do, but also ask others about what we do. So yeah, been really helpful framework.
Yeah, man. Awesome. Absolutely. This is a question from Rahil. He said, action to outcome. I couldn't understand this. So great question. This is often what happens. What we do, everybody, the biggest mistake I see a lot of people make when it comes to talking about what they do is they talk in features and not outcomes. And what I mean by, if you say, here's how it worked, here are some actions you've got to take. So if I say to you, all right, Rahil, I need you to connect with 50 people a day. I'm telling you what to do, right? You would go, oh, okay. But I'm not telling you how it's going to help. So most people won't take an action unless they can link it to something that they believe is helpful to them. So what we've got to remember as consultants, it's not about prescribing an action. It's about helping them link the action to an outcome. So you speak in outcomes and then you link it to an action. Whereas most consultants will say, just survey 50 of your top executives. Okay, well, why? So what we're going to do is we're going to survey 50 of your top executives, because then we're going to understand the common themes that are stopping your executives from leading their teams, and we're going to just focus in on less to generate more. Right. Okay. Now I see value in that action. Anya said, sorry, I'll finish off my train of thought. Rahil, thumbs up, buddy. Is that helpful? Yep, cool. Jane said, it's a great session. Is this to be applied in speaking, presenting, and offer? Yeah, you absolutely can use this for speaking. You can use this for like your own case studies, your own like writing. You can use this for anything, right? I always think a framework is better than guesswork. This ticks off all the major hot buttons in the minds of your audience. Do I believe in the product? Do I believe in the person? Do I believe I can do the process? So, product, person, process. They're the three biggest objections. If you can continue to put content out into the market, whether you're on stage, you're on screen, and you can deliver it, the beautiful thing is you'll get better and better at following the framework. And then you'll create more compelling frameworks. So rather than trying to make it up every time and bumble around, just follow the framework. Easy. Biggest thing is make the headline compelling. Otherwise, what we end up doing is we create great content, but the headline never gets the attention it needs, and the content never gets the attention or the exposure it deserves. Headline is important. So that's the big thing. Hey guys, listen, I think it's so important that in today's age with AI, that every single one of you use a framework like this to get yourself more visible in the marketplace. Nobody is going to judge you harder than you'll judge yourself. And so in order for you to get over yourself, to get out into the market, you have to just be okay to suck a bit. You're going to look at yourself, you're going to judge yourself, you're going to be like, oh, it's weird. But the alternative is that no one knows about you. So what hard do you want to accept? The hard of getting exposure or the hard of being invisible? One of them is going to help you get to where you want to go faster. The other one's not. Choose your hard and then accept your consequences. So guys, you take care. Chat to you soon. Bye for now. See ya.
If you've liked today's masterclass, please do me a favor, like, subscribe, and comment so we can hear from you and get this out to more consultants just like you who are looking to grow their practices to 500K and beyond. Helping consultants find their true worth and commercialize it in the marketplace is why we exist. If you'd like to learn how you can grow your consulting business, head on over to expertproject.com. Learn a bit more about what we do, download some more of our free resources, or follow us on social media. We'd love to hear from you. And if you want a direct access link into one of our teams so we can learn a bit more about your business, what you're wanting to create, and how we might be able to help, head on over to expertproject.com/launch. Give us a bit of detail about you, your business, and we look forward to having a chat with you and helping you grow your consulting business. In the meantime, take care and bye for now.